A couple of weeks ago, I was recommended a video, and then again a couple of days ago, I was recommended it again, and I actually decided to watch it, and it was simply too funny. The video was ranking the Asuna brothers from Brothers Conflict into a tier list by Leiby, and I just thought, I want to do this, except I want to rank all the Otome game-based anime boys against one another. But 100% go and watch her video, it's so funny. It's both her and her audience's rankings for each of the characters, with the exception of the youngest brother and the squirrel, which I think she is so real for excluding them. I then discovered that there is a considerable amount of Otome games that have now become animes, 39 as far as I've counted, and I've seen about 10 to 11 of them, which I don't remember most of. I literally think Amnesia gave me amnesia because I don't remember anything about the show, and I'm pretty sure I watched it about the same time as all the others. And I can remember too much of some of them, not for good reasons though. I decided it would be best to do this in parts, but I'd still be putting all of the boys onto one board together so that I have time in between each video to either rewatch or watch the shows to remember what they were like. Also let me know if you want to watch them together and maybe I'll stream them or record watching some of these shows. Oh, my voice is going and I don't know why. Okay, so how this is gonna work. I'm going to rank them based on only their anime character portrayal, mainly because I've played less of the games than I've watched of the animes, and they will be ranked on whether I would date them. But because that is complex in a lot of these cases, it'll be from the MC's perspective, so as if I was the MC picking who I'd stay with at the end of the anime. So, S rank is hands down no hesitation, I'd pick this person, they're amazing. A is a slight hesitation, but they're a good guy, so I feel good about my choice. B is this person was never your first choice, but you think they're fine and they're a safe choice. D, you really didn't want to pick them, but here we are. And F is you would never pick them in a million years, not even if they were the only person left on the planet. I'll probably forget these reasonings and come up with new ones as we go, but that's just a general idea of where my brain's at with these rankings. So, I decided to start in hell with Diabolik Lovers, as I was going to do Brothers Conflict, but I want to let Leiby's video recess further into my brain before that. So, here we go with the tier list. These are my wonderful thumbnails. I couldn't decide between the two because I had screenshots originally and then I found these really cute illustrations of all the boys. So I'm gonna do the screenshots for this video, but because we're probably gonna need more space regardless, I'll then put their cute little drawn thumbnails in. These also might just be straight up art from the game. I don't know, I've not played any of the games. I do want to though. I'm pretty sure none of them have official English ports. I think there might be some fan ones out there, I might have to go look for them. But do let me know if you want to see if I can find them. I will also do the More Blood Boys at some other point because I remember zero about that goddamn show. Like literally, I was sitting there going, I don't remember a single name of any of the More Blood Boys. Because I think I watched More Blood like once, like when it came out, and I haven't seen it since. Which is kind of the same for Diabolik Lovers, except that I've watched other people watch it before. So we're going to start with Shu. We're going in order, from oldest to youngest, with the exception of the triplets that I just put in an order that made sense in my brain. So Shu. I blew out the mic, so I'm going to try that again. So Shu. He was actually my favourite. He was my favourite character out of all the boys. So like, hands down I would pick him, but I feel like I can't give anyone from Diabolik Lovers S tier because in comparison to like, I don't know who to compare them to. I really don't. But like, in comparison to like some of the other shows, you know, these boys have zero self-respect for women. And that is kind of a deal breaker, realistically. But in the realm of the show, just know that Shu would have had S tier. But for reasons we'll get into in a moment, he's getting an A tier. I'm gonna get annoyed if you don't send to yourself, because thank you. I don't know, the reason I'm going to shoot A tier is simply because, bias aside, at least the first time him and Yui interact, it's like Yui runs into him. He's just like hanging out, it's the bathtub scene. We all know it. He's just like hanging out in the bathtub and she decides to strike up a conversation. But to be fair, he does, I think he talks to her first because he's like, why are you here, basically. But I'm like, you could have left. the moment you realized he was in that bathroom as well, you could have just opted to leave. She chose to stay. And then, you know, what happened, but like, that's just the nature of Diabolik lovers. I don't remember the second time they interact. I think he did show up. So I guess like my theory is flawed, but like, I also think he's the most tolerable in the sense that like he has zero like ambition to do anything 90% of the time. He's just kind of there. He's just like, I'll be here. If you need me, I'm here. If you don't, that's good. So I think I can safely say he's A. I should probably also add that my knowledge and remembrance of the show is coming from the fact that I recently, as in like in the past month, rewatched Kate and Maddie's of It Must Be Kate, watching Diabolik Lovers, because they now have a compilation, which I found out came out a year ago, but I just got recommended it recently. They have a compilation video of like their entire series of watching Diabolik Lovers, and it is really funny, like funny as hell, so you should also go watch that if you haven't. They're like kind of everything I love in certain YouTubers of just like, it's just two best friends hanging out, right? And they have like the chemistry that it's like, I don't get half your jokes. Some of the stuff you watch, I could care less about, but I'm like, you're really funny to watch interact, so I'm down for it. Anyway, back to this. So Reiji, I really didn't like him in the show. I don't know why, it was just something about him, like even before like the library episode, because like justifiably you don't like him after the library moment with where he like fully manhandles Yui. I don't know why I almost choked. Like literally, I won't say like the library is like the worst interaction I think between any of the characters, but it's like up there and being like, god damn Reiji, what the hell? Like where did it come from? But like also he's so more generically my type than any of the other characters. I'm normally like tall, dark and handsome, mysterious, doesn't talk much. That's my type. Think Mori Senpai from Ouran High School Host Club. That guy, he was my favorite. The twins are a second favorite from Ouran because it just like peak chaos, but like that's a different story. So like he had everything going for him, but he just like, I don't know, something about like his character, I was just like, no. What would I give him? I think I'm gonna put him in. Also, did I just realize that I didn't have an E tier in my like intro, by the way? I went from D to F. I forgot about E. I don't know the alphabet apparently. Someone's so gonna notice. I'm gonna have to edit that. I don't know if I'll put one in if I'm just gonna put it on the screen. Oh my god. I might put him in D tier. I just really didn't like him, you know? I don't know what it was about him, but I just like simply couldn't be down with him. Please center, please, for the love of God. I got like old man hands today and I just like center, there we go. I don't know. I guess like you could argue that he could deserve a higher rating because he also basically like didn't seek Yui out like ever. But also this guy fully made out with Yui knowing that it was his stepmom in her body, and that's weird. That's weird as hell, by the way, Reiji, that's weird. Given like probably not the weirdest thing that's happened in that show / game. I don't like it. We're moving on. Laito. You all might hate me for this. I think I'm gonna give him C tier. Simply because he's funny as hell, dude. Like, obviously, from the outside looking in, his interactions with like Yui, it's always hilarious. He's just like, always there, he's making stupid comments. The church scene, low-key goes hard, like, the irony, right? It's like, her out here praying to God that may or may not exist. Who the fuck knows what's happening in the Diabolik Lovers universe? But like, and him just being like, that doesn't work, lady, and then, you know, whatever happens in the church scene happens in the church scene, right? And I'm just like, oh my god, he's so good though. Also just like calling her a bitch constantly, like, once again, none of them have any respect for women, but like, that's every character, so it can't really be a defining factor for any of these characters. I just like, he's so chaos, and I think I fucking love that I have to give him C tier, you know? It's probably a bad choice, I probably shouldn't. Ayato, you know what's funny? When I was setting up this video, I couldn't remember Ayato's name. He's the only one. I remembered everyone else's name. I remember Kanato's name. I was like, what the fuck is Ayato's name? No one calls Kanato by his name. He's just the purple one with the bear, or the freak. I remember his name is Ayato. I literally thought his name was Haru for a second. I was like, that's not his name. Also, I should have remembered that like the triplets all have like the same ending to their names. Ayato's hard to judge, I think, against everyone else because of like in the anime they kind of push him a bit more to be like he's the one that Yui's gonna end up with, you know. Whereas obviously in the game it'll be whoever you fucking decide, right? So he's kind of harder to judge, but like also not at all because this motherfucker threw her in the pool. That is like the one scene I remember. Like, no joke, there is literally like one scene, I can tell you this now. There's like one scene that stands out for each of the characters. For me, for Shu, it's the bathtub. For Reiji, it's the goddamn fucking library. Obviously, the church for Laito. But Ayato, it's him shoving Yui into the pool and then finding out she can't swim, which obviously later comes back to benefit him when he shoves his mum in the pond and she goes, haha, I can swim, and he goes, haha, Yui can't. And, you know, it comes back to Yui and he saves it. But I'm like, you didn't know this was gonna happen. You had no clue that your mum was in a position. Well, he might have, but like, you had no thoughts that this was gonna come back. You just shoved her in the pool for no reason after like kidnapping her from like the other class. I'm pretty sure that's how the scene goes. And I was like, why'd you shove her in the pool? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, you made this man quote unquote in game for this show. I was like, he just like fully shoves her in the pool. What that means for me, I don't know. Like, where do I rank him? It's hard to decide. I think I kind of also want to give him C because like they're the same to me. Between him and Laito, like I think your odds of like survival, it's the same. Let's be real. You with either of them, like when you think about the show, right? They were the most aggressive too. Hayato might low-key have been more aggressive than Laito in the sense that he was also like fending off people, right? So like he got more chances to assault Yui. I think he's also C level. This is gonna become a weird board. Kanato, this is gonna be a fun one. You all might hate me because I'm not gonna put Kanato in F. I think I'm gonna put him in E. I forgot E existed, so I think I will put him there. But like, I think Kanato is like unpredictable in a predictable way, you know? Like, sure he does like psychotic he has a psychotic break every 4 seconds, like the mood swings on this kid are impressive, right? But I also think that if Yui had like 4 more brain cells, she would have like clocked into how he operates and could have very easily dealt with him. Also like, just punch him in the face. I hate to break to you, if I was in this universe, even though I know I couldn't have like killed them that way, I would have punched all of them in the face so many more times, even if it meant I was gonna die. Because like by the time like the second episode starts, Yui's been in this house for like 24 hours. They take her to school, they do all this shit, and I'm like, you're not leaving, by the way. Because I mean, you haven't really tried. Well, she tries like twice, right? But I'm like, at that point, you're just locked in. I would just start like picking fights non-stop. Because either I die because they just suck me dry, or I die going out like a fucking legend, picking fights with these annoying ass vampires, and I would rather that, by the way. So I think like I could take Hanato in a fight by at least getting one swing on, because it would surprise the shit out of him, right? They also, the show really uses creepiness to like their advantage, because like he's just kind of always there. Like there's not really in particular like one scene that stands out in my head about Kanato. It's just like he was always just in the background of so many scenes. I also remember like in Maddie and Kate's video, one of them mentions that at some point that they thought that Kanato might be like endgame, because he's just like, he's in so many more episodes in comparison to like the other characters. He's like always there, and I was like, oh my god, I wonder if I thought that, because I don't remember when I originally watched it, right? But like, I think his like big scene was like the doll room, right? Where I think he genuinely threatened to kill Yui and was like the only one, which like balls on this guy, right? So like that kind of makes me want to rank him higher, but I will give him E. I probably shouldn't give him anything higher. He is a menace to society, but like F tier is being reserved for one character in particular from a different show that I like, that has to go there. And I don't know, like if I had to pick between the two, I would pick Kanato over that person. So like they're ironically in a weird sense also the same though. So you know, it's a weird just, well, maybe I'll revisit it. Maybe I will put him in F when we get to that character when I realize they're the same. Subaru, I think also gets A. Simply because like, for most of the anime, he's not there, by the way. He just, like, he exists for, like, two episodes. You see him punch a wall in the beginning, and then he fucks off for a while, and then he hands Yui a knife and goes... I remember who was she meant to stab with that? I don't remember what he says. So obviously it was like, this is gonna kill vampires, yeah. And she ends up stabbing herself with it, which I'm like, okay. I mean, it worked out, right? It was like, this bitch is possessing my body, stabbed. But like, also, stab anyone else, you know? Why not try? I doubt it would have worked, but still. So like, Subaru gives her the knife, but like, also, he could so totally be convinced to pick fights with all of his brothers. Like, I low-key think you could convince any of them. But like, Subaru specifically, I think you could convince to be on your side and fight. I think he's too easily manipulated. Like, given his backstory with his mom and everything, you go, I could manipulate you into like doing bad things. And so I think he would be on your side realistically. So for that reason, I think we can give him A. No joke. Looking at this list, this is not how I expected this list to go. Please go in the center. Thank you. This is crazy. I probably should have given them B tier, not quite A tier, but I love Shu. Shu and Subaru. Is that his name? Yeah, it is. My brain was like, what's the car brand? Because obviously that's the joke, right? That's his name, but it's not. Yeah, so just know these aren't like definite. When it comes to certain characters in like future episodes, I may change my mind about them. But like, this is funny already. More Blood is gonna be really interesting to add to this because it also might change my opinion on some of the guys here. Because obviously they're also in More Blood, so yeah, so speaking of, More Blood might be the one I watch next. If I watch it by the end of the day, I'm just gonna re-upload this episode with like the More Blood boys on the end. Because obviously, like, it'll only take me like 2 hours because all the episodes are only like 10 minutes long. I think it's only like 12, right? Which I'm also like, why not just make 20-minute episodes and make 6? But each to their own, I guess. I think it's only 12 episodes because I remember when it first started coming out and I was like, 10 minutes? What? I also might go rewatch Diabolik Lovers and then More Blood just for fun and then go, maybe I should have given him F tier. I just don't remember Kanato being that bad. I do obviously remember in More Blood, Teddy gets kidnapped and then like, I don't know if he throws him in a fire or like threatens to throw him in the fire, and I remember that scene being something else, so I guess we'll see, right? I don't know. I'm really excited. Also recommend, if I missed any, so like, this here is my list. On my list. It is like the shows that I've seen that I'm pretty sure I've seen that are Otome based. Dance with Devils is gonna be so much fun to do because I fucking hated Dance with Devils. I did not know. For starters, I didn't know Earl and Fairy was one. I didn't know Princess Stride was one. I put Princess Stride here. I never finished it. I watched Princess Stride because I liked Prince of Tennis. And I watched Princess Stride and was like, oh, I might be into parkour now. I had a parkour phase thanks to Princess Stride, but I never finished it. The Gods one is going to be fun. I actually really liked the Gods one. It was an interesting concept. Obviously, they didn't go too deep to it because of, you know, it was a 12 episode Otome fucking game based anime. Fuck, what is your full title? Oh my god, what is your title? It's Girl Beats Boys is the English part. I don't remember what the beginning half of that title is. That one is also legendary, so I'm referring to this one. I actually own the first volume of the manga. They made a manga as well. It's only like, I think it's only like 2 or 3 volumes. It goes as far as like the anime, I'm pretty sure, but I own it because I absolutely loved this. It's like peak because it's like taking the traditional Otome scene, but it's also giving you a super OP like main character. Like, she's awesome. It also is like taking an interesting spin on the trope of like, my twin brother disappeared, so I've replaced him at his school, so it's not her brother. Well, I don't know if they've ever confirmed that they're long lost siblings. It was just some rando guy that found her on the street and was like, go to school in my place, because I want to go to your school. Or like a girl's school or something. I put Dramatical Murder on here. This was a recent addition because I forgot about it for a second. I will 100% do Dramatical Murder. The real question is whether I put Alba on the list too. Oh, I was also thinking that I want to do an alternative list where it's all the MCs on a survival tier list. Obviously Yui would be an F because she has 0 survival instincts. Like, Jesus Christ, lady. But also low-key all of them will be an F because all bar... Fuck, what is your name? I don't remember your name. She won't be an F because she has the most survival instincts. You're a question mark. I think you could also be out of F. She would be an F. Jesus Christ. Alba might also be an F. But yeah, so let me know if there is some other shows you want me to see. Also, there's 4 with a question mark. Is that there are a few games that I found that, well, a few anime, not games, that were animes that became games. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll put them on the list. But there was a few on there where I was like, probably shouldn't put these on the list. One of them in particular blew my mind, and I really want this game now. There's an Ouran High School Host Club DS game that came out, and I was like, I need this in my life. So I could probably put the Ouran boys on this list as well. I also thought about putting the Otome boys on the list. But if we're judging them based on the anime, obviously the anime is not romance-based, so that's where my hesitation on that is, so they're not technically on the list. There's also 2 animes that, when I was writing this list, I was looking at going, why do I feel like I have seen this? And I've realized, like, I saw the first one. It is, what is it called? First one I saw was Mr. Love Queen's Choice, which is a mobile game, which is arguably the predecessor to Love and Deep Space, so I've like become very intrigued by this anime, right? And then the second one was Stand My Heroes, and if you haven't seen either of these shows, same. If you Google them and look at screenshots of them, they look almost identical to the point where, like, it's not like identical, but like if you looked at both of them and you had like a vague memory of seeing one of them, you wouldn't be able to tell which is what I happened, because I first looked up Mr. Love Queen's Choice, right? And I looked that up and I was like, I think I've seen this. And I was like, I don't know why I think I've seen this, but I do. It was something about like the female main lead and then like one of the guys that just looked really familiar. I was like, okay, maybe I've seen this. And then I got to Stand My Heroes and I looked it up and I was like, no, I think I've seen this. And I realized that Maddie and Kate have a video on one of them, and that's what I was remembering. I was remembering them watching like 2 episodes of one of these shows, and I was like, I don't know what show it is, because they look so similar in just like screenshots. I was like, oh shit. So I think it was Stand My Heroes though, because Stand My Heroes like unlocked the memory of that's where I'd seen it from. But like Mr. Love Queen's Choice, it looks very similar if in screenshots only. Also, Dramatical Murder is currently on special on Steam. And I saw that and I was like, fuck, I have to buy this, don't I? So I might be doing Dramatical Murder next, just so I can go play the game and not have any impressions of the game influence this list. Anyway, I do think that is all. Yeah, there was a lot more that have come out recently. There was also a few I remember seeing on the list that I was like, so I was just kind of like googling around. I was like seeing, there's like a Reddit thread that had a good list on it, and I remember looking at it and going, aren't some of these just idle ones? Like I remember going, I don't know if this is Otome based or if this is just an idle game, because I was like, are these romance? So there were a couple of those, like, I'm trying to think of the names of them. Like, I'm pretty sure this one is, even though this one's also idol-based, I'm pretty sure this one was on our era of Otome. But I think, like, is it Idol 7? What was the B one? I don't remember. Or, like, Idolish? I think, like, that one, I think is just idol-based. But yeah, so let me know if there's any shows you want me to do sooner rather than later. As I said, these are the ones that I've watched and can probably judge. I have to rewatch Amnesia because I remember none of it. There was like one character who, like, every time I see him on like the internet, I go, oh my god, Amnesia, but I'm like, why do I recognize this guy? I don't know anything about this show. I have no remembrance. Like, I remember everything about it, not everything, but I remember enough about every other one of these shows. Even Earl and Fairy, which, like, who's heard of Earl and Fairy, by the way? I don't remember anything about Amnesia. I got amnesia watching Amnesia. Anyway, let me know what you want me to watch. Let me know what you want me to do next. And also let me know if you'd rank anyone differently. Peace out for now. Bye-bye. Also, I'm getting sick if you hadn't noticed. I'm literally the only person in my house that's currently not sick. Every other person is sick. I'm fighting for my life to not get sick. And it's not going well, because you could hear my nose is starting to go. I'm like, please, I don't want to be sick right now. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Peace out, and bye-bye for reals now.